Coach Udoka is out for this season, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't gonna record no videos. I wasn't gonna even think about doing NBA content until tomorrow, right? But this is pressing news. We gotta talk about it. Coach Ime Udoka was a very big part of what made Boston, Boston. If you watched any of their games from last season, how they started out the season, they started off very, very shaky. They were bottom of the league. Their offense was very, very stagnant. It took them a lot of time to find their stride. But once they found their stride, Boston as a team took off. And they started to dominate teams. And their defense was the best in the NBA. And obviously in the playoffs, they played even better. And throughout all of that, Udoka was very big at galvanizing the troops and guiding them in the proper way, holding players accountable, and creating a culture to where Boston was playing for each other and they were aiming to be as competitive and together as possible. Udoka helped this team gather together against adversity and overcome it. So not having him, to me, is a very big blow for the Boston Celtics. We also have to talk about, why is he being suspended for an entire year?
Okay, so I'm adding this right here in the post edit. More information has come out about Coach Ime Udoka, specifically the interaction that he had with the female staffer. Started out as consensual. However, there were some comments that he directed, I guess, towards her that made her feel uncomfortable, and she did not want it. So it's apparently seeming as if it became unconsensual later on. Possible SA, which is code for, you know what, could be on the table here for Ime, which would explain why the punishment is as severe as it is. At the time of the recording, I didn't know that, but let's get back into the video.
For those of you that don't know, according to this tweet put out by Shams right here, Coach Udoka is being suspended for the entire year because he had consensual relations with a staffer for the Boston Celtics. That's right, he cheated on Nia Long. No! That's tough. But does the punishment fit the alleged crime? I don't have an answer for that because we don't have enough details about the situation. I feel like it has to be something deeper than just a consensual relationship for him to lose his job for an entire season. And then that also brings me to my next question. What is going to happen to Udoka's tenure in Boston after this season? Because in my mind, if you fire or suspend a coach for an entire year of basketball, what's going to make all of this go away after this season concludes? After that, I think it's going to be hard for him to reacclimate himself back into the locker room. And at that point, I think you might as well sever all ties if you think it's severe enough to suspend him for an entire season. It just doesn't make much sense if we're being honest. Bringing it back to Boston, though, in terms of what this will do to their team, I do believe this does impact their seeding and how they'll play this season, but it does not affect them to where they're going to drop to the 7th or 8th seed. Guys, let's be realistic. Boston is still a very, very good team, and while Udoka was at the helm, while this team was battling through their adversity in the regular season, this group still overcame that adversity. And even if Udoka isn't there, the players, I believe, are going to be strong enough and together enough to still do that same thing this year. If there's the team that I could bank on making it through this, it would be Boston. However, this does impact them because it's not just the Udoka aspect of this, but it's that coupled with everything else Boston has had go wrong for them in this offseason. Rob Will is hurt to start the season. He had to get surgery, so he's not going to be there for the start of the season. And then on top of that, Gallinari is also hurt, so he's not going to be there either. So their front court rotation is very shaky to start the season. You're now going to be asking a lot more from Al Horford to be that veteran presence, not just in the locker room, but on the court to actually play, since their front court is extremely limited without those guys. In my estimation, before this news, I had Boston somewhere in the 1 through 4 seed range. This does drop them, but I don't think it drops them any further than 5. I think I would still lean Boston being a 3 or 4 seed because they're just going to be really, really good. Even if there is no Coach Udoka. But the impact of losing your head coach, to me, will more so show its head in the playoffs than any other point in the regular season in my mind. So there is a clear ceiling to what Boston will accomplish this year without their head coach. Now, is this fair for him to be out this long? Do you think the punishment should be longer? Feel free to let me know in the comments. Me personally, if this is all that Udoka allegedly did and it was consensual and there was nothing else going on, I don't believe a year fits the crime. I agreed to a suspension because he broke the protocols or did not follow what they were saying, but a year suspension for a team that just made it to the NBA Finals, I don't think that really warrants that. I think that's a little too harsh, but obviously they're going to go about things the way that they want to go about them. That's what Boston is doing. But of all seasons to do this to Coach Udoka, to do this now is just so rough, just because for Boston, this is the most competitive season the NBA, I think overall in both conferences, has seen in almost a decade. The East is a dogfight. You got Philadelphia, you got Cleveland, you got the Hawks, you got the Raptors, you got the Bulls. There are so many good teams from top to bottom in the conference. And then in the West, the same exact effect. You got the Clippers coming back strong. You got Golden State. You got a young Pelicans team. The Mavericks are still going to be good. The Suns still have the pieces. There's talent in both conferences to the highest level. So losing any type of competitive edge, if it's in your coach, if it's in players that are hurt, it's going to be very tough for teams to overcome. Boston is going to have to address their coaching issue. I believe that, yes, you can have a front office staffer. I can't talk. In my opinion, Boston is going to have to address their coaching issue. Yes, you could probably have a interim coach handle this season off of their coaching staff, and that could work just fine. But in my opinion, having a battle-tested coach who's great at defensive units and speaks to what the identity of Boston is, I think is very important. In my estimation, Frank Vogel would be a pretty good coach for this team, just because even though Frank can leave a lot desired offensively at times, I think with a team like this, defensively, that's their identity, and Frank Vogel is a mastermind when it comes down to defense. And giving him actual pieces on the roster that play a elite defense already, I think he can really fit that culture, even if it's just for a year. But yeah, this is crazy, bro. Like, again, y'all, I wasn't planning on recording anything, but again, I'm on my phone, I'm scrolling through Twitter, and this drops, and y'all know what happens. There's a bunch of spaces with people talking crazy. NBA Twitter is on fire. There's so many memes and GIFs and all these things going on. I feel like I needed to unplug from that and give y'all this video. But I did have a planned return video tomorrow. I will be breaking down the Minnesota Timberwolves and why they're so good. We're going to be ramping up content on this channel very, very quickly. Make sure to follow me on Twitter right here or here. I don't know, somewhere on the screen, because we're going to be having a lot of content coming consistently. With the Locker Room, if you don't know what the Locker Room is, shame on you. It's a platform where we talk about basketball. I stream it 2 times a week on the channel. It's a playlist called NBA live streams. Tap in on that. We're actually going to be having a recording tomorrow, so we will be discussing this situation further in detail tomorrow. We stream it on Sundays and Fridays on the YouTube channel. But yeah, I don't want to make this a long video. I appreciate everybody who's tapping in. We got more videos coming. I'm going to try to upload daily for some time. We got a lot of content to talk about every single day as the season progresses and ramps up. So if you like what you're seeing, like and subscribe. We just hit 400 subscribers. Let's turn up for that. I will be doing a Q&A once we reach 500, but 1,000 is the goal. So again, the subscriptions, the likes, the retweets, whatever support you can give me, I really appreciate it, and I don't take it for granted. But I'm going to catch y'all tomorrow for the Minnesota Timberwolves breakdown. Peace out, people. It's crazy times in the NBA.